Miranda the Celebrant here, and I'm back with some more goodness for you this week. If you are enjoying these videos, please go ahead and click on the subscribe button below. It all helps with that good old YouTube algorithm. I have been exhibiting at a few wedding fairs over the autumn and talking to couples about their hopes and dreams for their weddings. And a lot of them have expressed the anxiety that they feel. And when I've asked them a few more questions about what that anxiety is or which part of the wedding they're the most anxious about, there have been some common areas that have come up. There's anxiety over how the wedding is handled by family and friends and dealing with the opinions of others. And then there's anxiety over the wedding ceremony itself, and maybe even the speech afterwards, standing up in front of your family and friends and declaring your love for each other, and doing that in a very public way. And for some people, it goes beyond normal wedding jitters and nerves. It actually can bring on some really difficult levels of anxiety for them. And this is something that I see a lot of couples or individuals, one or the other, deal with, and it's something that I'm well versed in supporting couples through. So I wanted to have a chat with you specifically about the wedding ceremony. When I talk to people about what they're anxious about their wedding ceremony, it is the standing up in front of others, but taking that even further, it's the walking down the aisle. It's the standing up and sharing vows and wondering whether you're going to forget and fluff your words. It's being on show, ultimately. And whilst they want to express their love for their partner and their spouse in front of everyone and declare that and make those intentions together, doing that in such a public forum can be really, really difficult for some. And I'm the kind of wedding celebrant who really wants to serve the people that come to me, regardless of whether they actually go ahead and book me or not. And your wedding should really be about you expressing your freedom of choice. So if you don't feel comfortable standing up in front of a huge group of people, don't. You could think about doing your ceremony differently. You could elope, you could downsize, or if you are going to go ahead with having a group of people there, why not break with tradition? You don't have to walk down the aisle. You don't have to stand up in front of everyone. And with a celebrant, this is the great thing. You can choose to do things differently. A few years ago, I worked with a couple who were very, very anxious about their ceremony. They really didn't like being on show, and they had arranged a very small celebrant-led ceremony with me. But it became very obvious that the idea of walking down the aisle was just a no-no for one of them. And so I broached the idea of not having an entrance, and instead having the family and friends have an entrance rather than the couple. And so what we did was we had a beautiful space in a barn, and we had put the chairs in a semicircle, so to speak, and the couple were going to sit down in the heart of that semicircle. They weren't going to sit separately. But also, one of the lovely things I loved about this wedding is that they decided to light all the candles as everyone entered. And so the couple were lighting candles as all of their family and friends came in, and their couple were there to greet them with hugs and kisses, and people were there to support them. And then when we were ready, everyone took their seats and we started the ceremony, and I shared their story. And it was almost as if it was a storyteller sitting in a circle having story time, and that is what worked for that couple. They did stand up to share their vows, which they read from vow booklets, so they didn't have to remember anything. They just had to read the words from their vow booklets, which is typically what happens in a celebrant ceremony. And I just really wanted to make sure that they felt comfortable with everything that we did in the ceremony. So all the way along, when I was talking with them before I wrote their ceremony, during the writing process and during the review process, we made sure to look at the logistics to make sure that everything in that ceremony worked for them, not just the words that I shared, but also where they were going to sit, when they were going to stand, what they were going to say. We didn't do long vows, we just did what worked for them. And as a celebrant, that is why I do what I do, because no two ceremonies that I do are the same. I'd get bored if they were the same. I absolutely love it when couples come to me and say, we are challenged by this, this and this. How do we work this out? And that's when my creative spirit kicks in and we start to think about what will work for you. And it is a collaborative process, because I don't want to force you into doing something that you don't want to do. And you will also have ideas about how you want to do things as well. So we talk about it in a co-creative way and we create something that works for you. So if you're dealing with anxiety in the run-up to your wedding, take a look at what you're anxious about. Can you do things differently to reduce that anxiety? Also, one of the things that I talk to my couples about is practicing some calming breathing. And this is something that I do as a celebrant. So when I arrive for a wedding, I arrive an hour, 2 hours in advance to make sure that the whole space is set up, that everyone involved in that ceremony is ready and able to do what they need to do, whether it's musicians, readers, wedding party, the couple, the venue manager, whoever's looking after music, the caterers, so that we're all aligned on timing, all of that. And then once everything's set up, what I like to do is go away somewhere for 10 minutes, preferably before the guests all arrive. And sometimes it's a separate room, sometimes I go back and sit in my car and I just sit quietly with my feet on the ground, grounded, and I practice some calming breathing, slowing my breathing down. And this is something that I really encourage anxious couples to do. I'll say to them, let's just go over here for a little while to grooms. Sometimes if whoever's waiting at the top of the aisle, before we start, we'll go away for 5 minutes and we'll just practice some calming breathing. And sometimes I will stand in front of that person in a private space and just show them how to breathe. They'll follow me and follow my lead and calm them down. It's really important that you are present in your wedding ceremony, and practicing that calming breathing really, really makes a difference. Having someone by your side, whether it's a celebrant or one of your supporters who is there and aware of the situation and can help support you, can give you a pat on the back and say it's going to be okay. That's what we're there to do. We're there to support you so that you have the ceremony of your dreams. So there's just a couple of ideas about how to deal with anxiety, but a lot of this comes out, like I said, in a discussion with me, and we talk about what your specific anxiety is and how we can help to handle it. So if this is something that you've enjoyed, I am going to be posting YouTube videos with some top tips and ideas regularly. Please subscribe and like and comment below, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye for now.